Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mondal, for joining us. I'll quickly introduce her and the subject that she's going to be talking about. In fact, when I was reading the speakers, I was thinking that your presentation is perfect after Samhita's presentation. So Dr. Kanika Mondal is collection manager and archivist at Danmal Mathur Museum, Mayo College, Ajmer, Rajasthan. She's today going to talk about the museum in a school for education, a case study of Danmal Mathur Museum. And she is going to talk about the history and the curation processes, especially in a way that they can complement learning of the students who are part of that institution and even possibly from outside. So over to you, Dr. Mondal, for your presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the for your words. And yes, sincere apologies for the delay and the glitches. I mean, at my end. So here, without further delay, I would like to start off with my presentation. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the topic of my presentation is Museum in a School for Education, a case study of Danmal Mathur Museum. So the objectives are to present an overview of our museum, discuss the museological practices that we follow, and throw light on its unique approach to education. So this is the Mayo College, the main building. Mayo College is located in Ajmer, Rajasthan, and it was the building is of an Indo-Saracenic style, and it was designed by Major R.S. Month, who was a British architect, and he also designed the Lakshmi Vilas Palace, which is in Baroda, and this building was constructed in 1875. And so Mayo College, the whole campus is 187 acres. It's covers 187 acres of land, and it has 14 boarding houses apart from this main building. So all the boarding houses as well are heritage buildings by themselves, and which are now adapted as at one point of time these were all lodging places for the students when they came down from different princely states to study in Mayo College. And eventually when the other princes also took over from that particular state when they came down to study. And because I mean the whole system of I mean this thing changed, and the this I mean, the most students started coming in from different parts of India, and now they are completely adapted as boarding houses. And this is one of the buildings, which is the Jhalawad House, and this is where my museum is housed. So we in this building we have the museum, as well as on the back side we have the art school. So this is the main entrance to the museum. As I mentioned, that my museum is housed in the Jhalawad House, Mayo College campus, and this house was built between 1878 to 88 by His Highness Maharana Zalim Singh Ji II of Jhalawad, and he was a student at Mayo College. So when he came down to study, the house was constructed for his lodging purposes, and the museum was conceived by Sri Danmal Mathur. Now, Mr. Danmal Mathur was a geography teacher in Mayo College for almost 4 decades, and he has made a lot of contribution. I mean, apart from making the museum, and so he was also the first vice principal of Mayo College, and almost with the 40 years of experience of teaching geography here. And so it was his idea that we need to have a museum in house in the campus for us, for our students learning. And the museum was constructed in in this building it was made in 18 between 1948 and 49. And the collection is spread across 18 rooms, and all the collection we have under the roof are gifted or donated by the old boys. Old boys are the alumni of Mayo College, who are called old boys, and it's an active school museum. Here I would like to share that our museum is by many acclaimed to be the best school museum in Asia, and by far, I mean, even personally feel, I mean, we never have come across a school owning a museum, and we have more than 20,000 objects on display, and we actively use our resources for learning for our boys. So I'll be sharing some slides of the galleries, not all, but then some of the galleries. This is the main Mayo History Gallery. So we have three galleries on Mayo History, which has a lot of archival material like photographs, letters, correspondences between different, I mean, the faculty members over the years, even the Britishers when they, when they started, and it was all the British faculty till 1947, and with very few Indian faculty members. But then, yes, it was completely a British initiative, and that's how the school, flourished over the years, and eventually came down to the Indian, I mean, the princes, and they were taking care of it. This is the Eggs and Nest Gallery. We have now actually refurbished this gallery, but this is an old picture of the previous gallery we had. Now we have almost three galleries on national history, and this is one of the galleries which has a lot of annual trophies and some specimen in which are wet preserved, and we also have a large number of collection which had come down to Mayo College from the British Museum. So as you can see, there are some cases with butterflies, and there is almost like 200 mineral specimens which had also come down from the British Museum in 1890. Just a little bit of a eggs collection on display. These are the sculpture galleries. We have two sculpture galleries and the musical instrument section. And along with that, we also have the Jaipur blue pottery. And on the right, we have the lamp. So because Mayo College Museum is by far, it covers and signifies and documents everything related to Mayo. So we have these kerosene lamps. So in 1920, electricity came to Mayo College. Before that, there was no electricity, so only these kerosene lamps were used for lighting in the boarding houses. So that's how we have these. Apart from these, I mean, the lamps and all, we also have the vessels and all the old brass vessels, locks and weights and everything, which was used in the boarding houses in the previous years, and then eventually it was sent to the museum. This is a village reconstruction, a small room where we have reconstructed a village house which is located on the Gujarat and Rajasthan border. This is a currency gallery, and it has also had the clocks. So on the wall, if you can see, a few clocks are there. So these were all again, part of the boarding houses. Now we have a vast collection of Ganjifa cards, which is a little rare for any museum to own. So we have almost 18 sets of Ganjifa cards, and these are all made in leather and made in very pristine state. And the ones on display, they have the Indian gods and goddesses, mythological stories which are depicted on the cards. I mean, Ganjifas, have not many people who come down to the museum know about Ganjifas. This is one of the very prized collection for us. We also have three rooms dedicated to arms and armory. So this on the left is a German helmet, and on the right is a Rajputana helmet. Some more helmets on display. Now, the concept of object-based learning is a very peculiar feature of our museum, and here I would like to emphasize that when the concept, when the whole the term object-based learning was not really too much in trend, that time also Mayo College was promoting object-based learning. So in 1890 around, so we had like three attempts were made to make the museum. So first attempt was in 1890, then second in 1910, and the last and third attempt was in 1948 and 49. And so when the first and the second attempt were made, so that time different departments had their own teaching collection. Like the history department will have its own, then geological and science department will have their own teaching tools. So when the idea of museum was flourished and floated in among the faculty members, and the whole approval and everything fell in place by 1948. So all this collection was brought in, even from the from various departments. And then eventually even the old boys, when they came to the museum, was being made, and they also contributed generously. So now, since then, we are using our objects for object based learning sessions, and these are carried out through structured learning through toolkits. So toolkits are nothing but the teacher resource packs, which are very comprehensively designed, and each toolkit will have a number of activities designed around our objects, and so that they are linked to the classroom syllabus. So basically, whatever curriculum is taught in the classes, everything we try to relate in our learning through the museum. And so these sessions are compulsory for our boys from class 4 to 8. So what happens, by the time the students reach class 8, they are so well versed with the museum, and so well acquainted that by the time they're in 8th and 9th, apart from the object based learning, those who are really inclined, they move in for project based learning sessions from 9th upwards. Now, what are the benefits of using these toolkits? I'll be showing more slides where I'll be explaining about what is a methodology, and which is a very peculiar way of teaching through the objects. So, what are the benefits of using these? Basically, these help in developing students' observation skills. When it slows down their learning, when they come to the museum, they observe, look around. They have these worksheets which they solve. There are art activities, there are dramatic activities which are held in the museum, and that's how learning is imparted and reinforced through various means. Then it also develops their analytical skills through comparison. Of course, I mean, when the worksheet is there, it has a plethora of activities and of different natures. I mean, varied nature. Like some would be drawing, some would be write down a poem, pick an object and then write down a poem of your choice, and write down a story, and just simple observation, like you draw and narrate or enact, like that. Then it develops children's critical thinking. Memory enhancement definitely is there, and creates a lifelong learning and curiosity. Our boys, whenever the new batch of boys join in April, so the first thing they are, their visit to the museum is scheduled, and I mean, before the museology lessons start. So it's kind of a simple walkthrough in which we orient them of all the resources that they have for learning in Mayo College. Now, the toolkits are basically divided into two broad categories. The first one is the theme based toolkits. So, these are for the younger students or the junior school from classes 4 to 6. They contain more explorative and hands on activities, and they help in acquainting students with the museum. I mean, the basic idea is that students get familiar with the museum and its offerings. Then the second type is the object-based subject-based toolkits. That's for classes 7th and 8th, and it's for older students. They have more of observational activities, like children observe and then they solve. It has more intense activities, and helps students gain deeper understanding and knowledge of specific objects and the collection. So we pick up the theme, like we have, as I said, we have like 18 galleries, and as such we have 12 themes, in which we can categorize our objects, and every theme will have different activities. And all these sessions are conducted under the museology classes, and wherein the toolkits are used by the teachers. The different teachers use the toolkits, different subject teachers are involved. Now, the various themes of the toolkit are history, geology, environmental, and society. This is for the junior school I'm talking about. And for the senior school, we have subject-based toolkits, as I said. So every subject, like English, there will be one toolkit. For maths, there will be another. History and civics has another. Geography and Hindi, even the language has toolkits. So every museology class will have will be done in three different stages, and different subject experts are assigned the charge of the toolkit considering the interdisciplinary ring. So say for example, we have one object, we have a trowel, and so that one trowel will be used. We try to tap the subject scope, the different subject scopes that can be taught from that one particular object. Like it will have some scope of history, it will have some scope of art and science, the art of metallurgy. Then in terms of designing also we try to tap it. So that's how we try to make it interdisciplinary and interrelated learning. Then pick the teachers for the activity based on the subjects included. The teachers are decided, and they are assigned the task of conducting the activity. And of course, we are there to assist them. But yes, their subject knowledge and subject expertise is what we look forward to, tapping them in our sessions. Create a chart of how the visits would be carried out. That's how it is scheduled in the timetable, because it's regular, every week we have. So it is compulsorily to be attended by all the boys, and that's how it's part of our school curriculum. Discuss a seamless plan, debates intended outcomes. Of course, when the idea of one particular topic is selected from the toolkit, yes, it is always analyzed of whether the teacher also have a say, whether they would like to do particular activity, or they would like to make any amends to it. Like when I joined in Mayo College 2 years back, and when I joined in, now the toolkits are almost, they were in practice since 2018. But eventually I realized that some kind of participatory activities were lacking. So we have tried to add more of participatory activities at the end for our boys, just to give them make the activity more enjoyable. And edits the kit as per the level of the student or time constraint. As I said, every teacher, every facilitator of the activity will have a say in it, and they can amend the activity as per their requirement and understanding. Now, every visit will have three stages. First is the pre-visit stage. Now, at the pre-visit stage, the concept is introduced through fun activities, which may include audio clips, games, dramas, and certain observations outside the confines of the classroom. So, we actually work under the concept of campus as a classroom, wherein all the learning and the teaching happens in the campus, and the museum is a part of the campus. So that's how it is utilized as a learning tool for our students. The activities lead to a sense of awareness, and the students then look forward to the museum visit, which brings together the idea which was floated in the pre-visit. So basically, we try to introduce the concept, and then at the second stage of the visit, when they come down to the museum, they already are oriented and they do have an idea of what is going to happen. The second stage is the museum visit. So boys visit various galleries mentioned in the toolkit under the guidance of the teacher in charge and the required subject teachers. They keenly observe the artifacts on display and they note down their observations or hold discussions or generate an hypothesis. Now, at the third stage is a post-visit stage and activity which usually sums up the toolkit and is based on the broader perspective of applying what has been observed or looking at the larger picture. So this is kind of a reinforcement of the learning which has happened at the previous two stages. And feedback after the session is recorded by the students, the teacher, and also by the observer. This is just, a slide which shows, part of the front page of one of the toolkits. This is our feathered friends. I've just taken one example. There are four toolkits for classes four subject based, for classes 4, 5, and 6, four each. So it's very extensive, and seventh, eighth also have six each. And so it's not really possible to cover everything. So I've just picked up one activity which I'll be taking as an example and try to explain through that. So the sample toolkit, our feathered friends is a topic, and this is environment toolkit. So so we try to tab the subject scope through this particular activity. Like English, we teach vocabulary building. We focus on that through proverbs. Then there is listening and comprehension involved. Then for geography, we have birds in the tri-states of India. So when the boys go around at the pre-visit stage, they study the geography, and they observe the birds, listen to the calls. So all that is a part of the geography. Then we have maths. So mathematical operations are taught using the birds and the eggs and nest gallery. And science adaptation characteristics of birds are taught. Then for craft, clean and green earth. So basically, we have these bird feeders which the boys design, and we have also added another activity which is eggshell painting. So the boys created minions using the empty eggshells. So it's all inspired. All these activities are inspired from a collection. This is a reference map when the boys come down. So how do they navigate in the museum? Now, I'll be just telling about the sessions that are there in this particular toolkit and activity. So the first, which is a pre-visit stage, is the chirp charade. So it is a 30 minutes introduction. So the boys are taken around the campus early morning with the science teacher and me. I mean myself, I'm there, and another person who takes up the museology classes from the junior school. And then we take them around, and with the help of the science teacher, the boys are made to just observe the birds, listen to the bird calls, and record their observations in the noting in the worksheet. Then second session is look up bird watching. Again, this is related. So they just move around because we have a huge variety of birds, and which is in the campus. It's very rich. So they observe, and they kind of try to maintain their records. And they are also taught about what are the food habits, what are the features, what are the characteristics of birds, how are their physical characteristics, they define their their adaptation characteristics, what are the different kind of nests they would have. So also the learning is kind of slowed down and done in nature, in a natural environment outside the confines of the classroom. Then during the visit, we have Eco Explorers, which is 1 hour 40 minutes activity. So learning labels. Now in the National History Gallery, they have, they are made to observe the labels, and we tell them that, what could be the alternative label which they would like to have. And nest, we also have in the eggs and nest gallery, we have vast collection of nests. Then again, they try to observe, the birds, what they have observed in the campus, if the same bird's nest is there or not. So it's kind of more a pragmatic approach to learning. And again, it of course builds up their cognitive ability and thinking skills as well. Then the third is the Antica funda. It's zoology and comparisons, random egg labels. So basically, it's just they study the characteristics of different types of eggs. How are they different from each other? How is one bird's egg is different, and how does it if the egg size is small or a oval, so why is the reason for that? What is the reason for that? There were 20 sleepy eggs outside the museum. So again, there is a storytelling session which is conducted, and the boys are engaged in that activity. And mathematical activities there, wherein the we try to give them a problem, like 10 eggs of this bird is there, and we kind of swap them. What would be the outcome, what would be the answer if we change the calculation? So these in this way, we teach the shapes also through our egg collection. So we try to relate the topic which is going on in the class. If it's factors and multiples, then we do take up that activity in the museum. If it's shapes and forms, the geometry, then geometry is also taught through our objects. This is just general. The birds which are there, and their number in the this thing museum, how they are displayed. And so this is the boys have to identify using the number and the name. They go read the labels and they identify the bird. So this is an example, a sample sheet. So every activity is very detailed, and as you can see at the end, so the calculation is also there. So all these activities are doing the worksheet in the particular class in the museum. So the idea is to make them familiar with their own heritage, because this is Mayo's heritage. What we represent is Mayo College. So they kind of so there is a relation which is which is built and which is strengthened over the years. At the post-visit stage, it's light as a feather, so it's 30 minutes. So basically, English proverbs, pairing up situations to identify the proverb. English activities conducted, and the last one is a bird feeder. Again, this is a this thing art activity wherein the boys make bird feeder craft activity in the art school. So this is an sample sheet of the proverbs, like bird in the land is bird two in the bush, wise as an owl. So these simple proverbs which are used. So we try to teach and enhance students' vocabulary as well through our museum. This is the sample sheet of the bird feeder, the last post-visit activity. Now these are the slides. I'd like to show a little bit of slides. So this is the our feathered friends, the same activity that the first pre-visit stage when the boys were in the campus observing the birds and making their recordings in these things. So the science teacher is there assisting them. This is in the museum when they observe and make their observations and solve the worksheets. Different subject teachers, whichever subject activity is going on, that particular subject teacher would be present to conduct the activities with us. This is the egg painting, this thing which they did at the end. Apart from that, we also have other, so these are the other toolkits activities for different classes. We have all these sessions. This is one of the balcony where we have actually, so this is when you can see the molded furniture, but we have wooden furniture done now. So wherein the boys sit and they solve. It's just a respite to them for even from the classroom, and they can sit freely and solve their activity sheets. Yeah. So as I mentioned, that boys get so intrigued and interested, and they're so well versed with the museum and collections that they themselves are freely giving tour of the museum. So by the time they reach in 8th, any boy you ask, they'll be able to give a general tour of the museum to anybody. And apart from that, we also have this history and museum society, of which I'm in charge. So we conduct special activities for our boys, and so all the boys who are more inclined towards history and heritage and museums, they are a part of the society. And like we have signed an MOU with the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, and with the conservation division. And as a part of it, we are revamping our gallery spaces, and we have had few workshops on conservation with IGNCA conservation team, as well as with National Museum of Natural History, wherein the boys, they clean the artifacts, clean the tiger heads in the presence of the trained conservators who had come down to conduct the program. So here we have some future development plans. Like we are developing the conservation laboratory. We're in the process of doing that, and with technical assistance from IGNCA and refurbishment of existing galleries. Yes, we are in next year we are going to be celebrating our 150th prize giving. So prize giving is just the annual prize giving function, which is a very elaborate 3-day program at Mayo, and that's when all the departments, they hold their exhibitions and all. And students also showcase what has been their learning throughout the year. So they have put up shows and all, and development of spaces for learning, like this is also ongoing and also has been completed. Like we have our balconies, as I showed the slide, wherein we have developed them as classrooms. And digitization and barcoding of objects, this is currently going on. And so we when I joined in, we did not have any records. No records in the museum was in place. So we have just started off with the basic documentation, where we are just taking pictures and recording them in the documentation sheets. And but yes, with that, we also have project based learning sessions, wherein our boys are engaged from ninth upwards, and they take up individual activities in the museum. Like they've started off with the object scanning, and they have created videos. And so I'll just show one video.
Sorry, Kanika, your slides are not changing or something?
No, ma'am, they are.
We can't see the video.
So this. You cannot see? Is it not visible?
No, the video is not visible. We are on the other program slide still.
Sorry?
We are still on the slide of the other programs.
Is it?
So you may have to kind of escape the slideshow and get back.
Is it? One second. I did run through all the slides. Did the slides not change?
No,
I
not
don't know.
throughout. It's just the
Okay.
last part.
Acha, okay, okay. So this is the video. I'll just try to run again and see if it plays now.
You may have to, yeah, if you could just escape the slideshow once,
Okay, okay,
go
ma'am.
to
I'll do
normal,
that. I'll do that. One second.
get back, yeah.
Okay, okay. Is it, I mean, can you see right now?
No,
Is
not
it
the
running?
video.
I think
No.
you need to close the presentation once and then reshare the screen with the video on.
Okay, okay. I'll do that. I'll do that. One second. I can show this as well if this. Is it like playing right now?
No.
Oh,
Just now it's blank. It's showing that you've started screen sharing, but we are still not seeing it.
oh. I'm so sorry. I don't know. There is what problem. I'm not able to figure out. Anyway, so this is basically our boys. They've started the digital the scanning. So using the lidar technology and photogrammetry technique, which Jigna ma'am was mentioning in the previous in her presentation. So the boys are also using the same technique and applications to scan the objects. They take these 360-degree scans, and then they kind of piece all together, and then they've made films. So that's how our boys are kind of helping us with the digitization. And apart from that, we simultaneously, I mean, I'm also working on the record keeping, the digital record keeping of our this thing museum objects. And perhaps this was one video which I really wanted to show, because I mean, it shows the kind of work our boys are engaged in. And we believe in empowering our children. So as much activity like they only do, once the scanning is done, they make the videos, editing, voiceover is done by the boys. And I help them out with the research. Of course, I mean, we just guide and see that everything, the research which is final product is I mean, it's I mean, there are no this thing gaps in that. One second. I'll just give a final try if now the video can be played. I mean, I'll
Sure.
just try one. Yeah.
No, the video is still not there. We can hear the sound, but not the video.
Oh, oh. It's still not playing?
No.
Oh. It's running here though.
Kanika, can I
Yes,
share
ma'am.
something, please? Yeah, you can share it with me,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
can share it with everybody else, the video. Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yeah.
with this, actually, I'm at the end of my presentation.
Yeah.
So this was the last thing which I wanted to share, because this is our children's work, what they are doing right now. And so this is
I'm
how I
sure it will
just
be very
I wanted
interesting.
to conclude.
I'm sure it will be very
Yes,
interesting.
and
Yeah.
I'll share the video with you, ma'am. So
Yeah,
so
I'll
that
share
can
it with
help
all
with
the
this.
participants.
Actually, you can share the video in the chat box here itself, so everyone can
Okay.
just have it.
Okay. Okay. I'll just try that as well once.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's also a good idea, Samita's given. Share it to the chat box. Share it in, and then we'll all have a look. Samita can save it for the, when she uploads the whole thing.
Yes, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So Kanika, if you can stop sharing, we can move on to the next
And
session.
Kanika, please stop sharing.
Okay.
No? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, over to you, Samhita. I think we need to move to the next session now. Thank you very much, Kanika. That was actually very, very detailed and very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Kedareshwari, ma'am, for giving the opportunity. And it was been very insightful. The everybody's presentation, and I'm really sorry. For the technical this thing, but I'll definitely share the video. So what you can see, what our boys, how do they engage, and we continuously aim in promoting and encouraging them to be a part of the museum on a continuous basis.
Yeah. No, it was an excellent presentation, and I really enjoyed. In fact, maybe I'll be
Thank you.
coming to you for sharing some of the programs you're doing to share it with other museums who can implement it. See, everywhere it's the implementation that matters. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so
Yes,
much,
ma'am.
Kanika.